हरि ओम ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। सदाशिवसमारंभां शंकराचार्य मध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्य पर्यन्तां वंदे गुरु परंपराम्. Namaskar to all. This is your host Soumya and welcome everyone to yet another session from Indica Moksha on the account of Global Festival of Oneness. This is a month-long festival on Adi Shankaracharya Bhagavadpada, covering various aspects and topics of Advaita Vedanta. Today's topic is Tirukkuṟaḻ and Advaita Vedanta, a convergence by Sri Ragavendran SS. Sri Ragavendran ji is working as a manager in a software company. He heads the state division of organizations such as Siksha Samskriti Uttanyas, one of the scholarly organization of Siksha and Sankul of the RSS, as well as Mission Kali, an organization active against forced conversion of Hindus. He also holds the Orange Book of World Record title for the longest online Tamil event ever conducted for over 789 hours. He has studied and mastered Bharatiya darshanas such as Yoga, Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Mimamsa, and Vedanta. He has written and translated books on Vedic rituals, Upakarma, and Upasana. Additionally, he has also written 8 books on history and politics. He is proficient in Sanskrit, Tamil, and English, and expertise in poetic composition in all these 3 languages. So, he has also composed numerous patriotic and devotional songs that have resonated with our nationality and spirituality of the country for various occasions. He has contributed significantly to modern scientific methods and research in the areas such as Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Vedanta, Mimamsa, Sangama literatures, and etc. His approach to handle academic research and corporate project management through Indic philosophy has attracted many students from both the academic and corporate domains. He has conducted workshops for top executive professors and research students in the domain of Indian knowledge systems. With that introduction, over to you, Raghavendran ji.
Namaskaram, pranams to one and all. Acharya charanadvandha spritihi vachakarupinam aham krutva kurute vyakyam nahamatra praburyataha. Apara karuna sindhum jnanadam shantarupinam Sri Chandrasekhara Gurum pranamami mudanvaham. A very good evening to this gathering of mumukshus, Vedantis and scholars. I would like to thank Indic Academy for conducting this event, which is a crucial need today with where our nation is heading. We must understand our Vedanta, our traditions, and our philosophy if we want to head this world as the Vishwaguru. I would like to quote from my most favorite poet of all in Tamil, Mahakavi Bharatiyar, எல்லோரும் அமரத்துவம் எய்தும் நன்னிலையை இந்தியா உலகிற்களிக்கும் ஆம் இந்தியா உலகிற்களிக்கும் ஆம் ஆம் இந்தியா உலகிற்களிக்கும். Bharatiyar stated that there will be a day where this nation, this Bharat, will show the way to the entire world to achieve Amaratva, the way to achieve deathlessness. This is the only country that will show the world the way to achieve deathlessness. That is the one and only unique field in which we can be 100% global leaders, because nobody else is able to even think about these philosophies or even create the ways for liberation as we have done. We can be great leaders, we can be global leaders in all the other fields as well, very good. However, specifically, we are already global leaders because we are unparalleled in the field of spirituality. So we need to understand and realize our spiritual roots through webinars like this in order to become Vishwaguru, in order to be a part of the process of making Bharat the Vishwaguru. Now today we have taken the topic Tirukkuṛaḻ and Advaita, a convergence. In this topic, we have a very important significance, that is, Tirukkuṛaḻ is the token literature of the Tamil Sangam literature period. That is the most ancient literature in Tamil, is known as the Sangam literature, and Tirukkuṛaḻ is a part of that literature in the later Sangam period. And also, even if many of you are non-Tamils who have not read Tirukkuṛaḻ, you will know what Tirukkuṛaḻ is. You would have come across the word Tirukkuṛaḻ. I am 100% sure of it, because our great Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi ji is reciting Tirukkuṛaḻ wherever he is going. Whichever country, whichever summit, wherever he is going, whichever event, he is reciting Tirukkuṛaḻ. Because if you want to encapsulate the greatness of the entire Tamil literature, the ancient Tamil society and tradition, which is a part of the Bharatiya tradition, you can encapsulate it in the form of Tirukkuṛaḻ. So it is such a great text, but it's a very small text, just 1330 couplets, each 7 phrases written in the Gayatri, Devi Gayatri Chandas, 24 letters Devi Gayatri Chandas. And in Tamil, it is called as Kural Venba. If you look at the Chandas, it is Devi Gayatri Chandas. And this is a very small text. It is very precise, but it is so profound in its meaning that one of the poets who are venerating Tirukkuṛaḻ, even during the time of Tiruvallur himself, they have stated, Kadugai Tulaithu Adil Yel Kadal Pugutti Kurugat Taritta Kural. You know, when you look at the Tirukkuṛaḻ, it is such a small text, just 1.5 lines, just 7 words. What is so great about it? Well, these 7 words are like 7 oceans. It is like taking a grain of mustard and opening it up and including the 7 oceans into that small grain of mustard. So that is the greatness of Tirukkuṛaḻ. Now, speaking of Tiruvallur, we actually do not know who he is. Thiru is the honorific title, and Valluvār is his community name. Valluvār is a name of a community in Tamil Nadu, and Valluvars are the people who are great scholars in astrology, astronomy, medical sciences, so on and so forth. They are great pandits of various shastras. They are called Valluvars in Tamil Nadu. And it will be amazing to know that they are from what we so-called scheduled community today, but they were scholars in those days. So this Valluvar is not a name. Then who is he? That is the question. We actually do not know. There are so many traditional lores about him, but we do not know historically anything about Tiruvallur. But we know one thing for sure. That is, we have a Tiruvallur temple here in Mylapore in Chennai. And during the Aruvatti Moovar festival, which is a celebration of the 63 Nayanmars of the Saivite Tamil lore here, of the Saiva Siddhanta of Tamil Nadu, he is venerated as the 64th Nayanmar. It is a tradition that the Urchava Murti of Tiruvallur will go from his temple to Kapalishwara temple during the car festival, during the Aruvatti Moovar festival, which got completed just a month ago. So this tradition is there, and Tiruvallur is seen and venerated as a seer, as a rishi from Tamil Nadu. And if you want to know much more detail about this, you can read one beautiful text written by late Dr. Nagaswamy, Tirukkuṛaḻ, an abridgment of Shastras. And Tirukkuṛaḻ in itself is what is called as an Aranul. Aranul simply means Dharma Shastra. So Tirukkuṛaḻ is a Tamil Dharma Shastra, and today we are going to explore about Tirukkuṛaḻ. So, Tirukkuṛaḻ, as I told you, each word in Tirukkuṛaḻ is an ocean by itself. So we cannot explore it in its entirety. It is not a possibility at all. With even all our senses and the entire time put together, we can still explore Tirukkuṛaḻ even after Pralaya. So I am only going to take 7 couplets and see how our Advaitic philosophy is fitting inside Tirukkuṛaḻ, or how Tiruvallur is agreeing with Bhagavadpada. So we are only going to see a glimpse of the tip of the tip of the tip of the iceberg today. If there are any Tamil audience here, even if you do not know any other Tirukkuṛaḻ, you will know this one particular Tirukkuṛaḻ for sure. Agara mudala ezhuthellam Adi Bhagavan mudattре ulagu. The Akara is the beginning of all the other Aksharas. Similarly, the Supreme Being is the beginning of this existence. This is the simple meaning of this Tirukkuṛaḻ, of this couplet. Now, you take any language in the world, any language in known human history, the first syllable will be some form of Akara, some variation of Akara. You can say alpha, you can say you can say a, you can say a. some form of this akara will be the beginning letter, will be the first syllable in any given human language. That is because that is the first sound that we will be able to make the moment we open our mouth. Without any sort of contraction, without any mixing with the tongue, the first sound that we will be able to make will be akara. So it is the beginning of all alphabets. Similarly, the Supreme Being is the beginning of this existence. This is the simple meaning. However, when you look at the commentaries, the ancient commentaries written for Tirukkuṟaḻ, especially Parimelalagar's Visheda Urai, there is a special commentary written by an author called Parimelalagar during the 10th century. He writes, Agarathindrel matra எழுத்துக்கள் தோன்ற மாட்டா, meaning it is not only that the akara is the first syllable of all the other syllables. It is not just the beginning. It is not at the top of the list. It is not just at the top of the list. It is this very same akara which is manifesting itself as all the other aksharas. What the tongue and the lips and the muscles in our mouth are doing, they are simply mixing up this akara to create all the other sounds. This is the meaning, special meaning that he is giving there. And what does this mean? He is saying that the akara is not just the instrumental cause for all the other alphabets, but akara is the material cause for all the other objects. Sorry, for all the other articles that is there, for all the other aksharas that is there, articulation. This is very significant for Advaita because here Tiruvallur is comparing this akara to the Supreme Being and all the other rest of the alphabets to the existence. So what we understand here is that the Supreme Being is not only the instrumental cause, but he is actually the material cause for the existence of the universe. In order to explain this, well, let us say a pot is there. What is the cause of this pot? What caused this pot to be here? We need mud, we need a potter, we need a wheel, and we need a stick. So if mud is there, a potter is there, wheel is there, and then the stick for rotating that wheel is there. So the potter will make a pot. So a pot will happen. Now, there is a very specific difference between the mud which is involved as a cause for the being of the pot and all the other things like potter, water, wheel, and stick. That is, after the creation of the pot, the potter will remain the potter. The wheel will remain the wheel. And the stick will remain as a stick. However, the clay has become the pot. It has manifested itself as the pot. This is called as upadana karana, or the material cause or the immediate cause in philosophy, in Vedanta. Now, this definition of the creator as being separate from the creation is the Dvaitic and Vasishtadvaitic point of view. Only in Advaitic point of view are we able to identify the creation itself as a manifestation of the creator himself. So the creation and the creator are inseparable. Similarly, the aksharas and the akara and the rest of the aksharas are inseparable. Similarly, Ulagu, that is the creation, and the Adi Bhagavan, the primordial supreme being, are also inseparable. The very first Tirukkuṛaḻ, the beginning, the very first couplet itself stands as a pillar for the proof of Advaita. And also, there is another beauty here, that is Adi Bhagavan Mudatre Ulagu. Mudatre has an ekara at the end. Ekara. Mudatre Ulagu. Similarly, in Bhagavadpadacharya we have Pradhamottame Akshare Satyam. And in Bhagavadpadacharya, this Akshare Satyam, according to Acharya's Bhashya, is Akshara Eva Satyam. The Akshara Eva Satyam meaning there is only one truth, it is indivisible, and that truth is indicated by the Ekara as being only one. So, in Tirukkuṛaḻ here, once again, Parimelalagar is stating, Ekaram Tetrathin Kan Vandadu, meaning the Ekara that is there in Mudatre is the one and only cause for the creation of the universe, is there because of the speciality of being indivisible. So the indivisible cause, the immediate cause, and the one and only attribute which the universe has manifested itself from, and the one and only cause which has manifested itself as all the attributes, is the Supreme Being himself. So this is pure Advaita. You cannot define it with any other philosophy. And then going to the next important next important portion of Advaita, that is, Advaitis are purely concentrating on the Nirguna aspect of the Brahma or the Nirguna Brahman. There is no doubt about it. We are only worried about dissolving ourselves with the attributeless Supreme Soul. No doubt about it. And we have to realize that we are also attributeless and we are the Supreme Soul. However, you cannot find even one single form of Saguna Upasana in this Bharatiya culture, in this Sanatana Dharma, which has no connection to Bhagavad-pada. Every form of Saguna worship, you will find some contribution from Bhagavad-pada there. Let it be temples, let it be shlokas, let it be various forms of worship, let it be the 6 forms of worship, the Shanmada Stapana. Wherever you go, Acharya would have created various means and ways for Saguna worship. Because Nirguna worship can be achieved, that is, the Nirguna realization can be achieved only through Saguna worship, that is called as Kramamukti. So in order to achieve this, in order to travel through this proper process, Advaita is accepting Saguna worship as a pathway to realize the Nirguna Brahma. And in a text called Prapanchasara, written by Acharya, the first 3 manifestations in the creation of this existence are the Brahma, Vishnu and the Rudra forms, which are the 3 forms of the Sattva, Rajas and Tamoguna. And in Tirukkuṟaḻ, you take the first 3 couplets. We saw the first couplet, Agara Mudala Ezhuthellam Adi Bhagavan Mudattrai Ulagகு. The second couplet, in this couplet, the Supreme Being is indicated by the term Adi Bhagavan. Similarly, in the second couplet, Katradanal Aya Payan Enkol Valarivan Natral Torar Enin. Here, the Supreme Being is indicated by the word Valarivan. And in the third couplet, Malarmisai Yeginan Manadi Serdar Nilamisai Needu Valvar. In the third couplet, we see that Malarmisai Yeginan. This is the term that Tiruvallur is using to denote the Supreme Being. Now, traditionally, the first Tirukkuṛaḻ, Mukkat Bhagavan, is the definition given in the Sangam literature. Meaning, Bhagavan is a term that indicates the Lord Shiva, and in the second one, that is Valarivan, is a term that indicates Lord Vishnu, and Malarmisai Yeginan, who is seated on a lotus, is Brahma. So, Tiruvallur is also following the same pattern as Prapanchasara when he is introducing the Saguna forms of the deities in his first chapter. And then the next couplet that we are going to look at is Irul Ser Iruvinayum Sera Iraivan Porul Ser Pugal Purindar Matu. This is the 5th couplet. That is, the dark duality will not affect those who venerate the greatness of the Supreme Being. For those who are able to realize and venerate the greatness of the Supreme Being, the darkness of the duality will not affect them. Now, when you say duality, obviously Papa and Punya, and then the merit and demerit, and also good karma and bad karma, whatever you might want to call it, or sorrow and joy, whatever you might want to call it. In Advaita Vedanta, there is no dukkha and sukha. There is no dukkha and sukha. There is dukkha and then dukkha mishra sukha. Meaning, there is joy and then, there is sorrow, and then there is joy which is coupled with sorrow, or joy that will bring sorrow. So, the only state of bliss that you can achieve is by liberating yourself from this duality. This is purely Advaitic principle. So, when Tiruvallur is stating Irul Ser Iruvinai, he is clearly indicating that we have to transcend both of these, both the virtuous karma and the demeritorious karma. Meaning, you can achieve Swarga, you can achieve whatever loka you want to through your punya, but you cannot liberate yourself through righteous deeds. You cannot liberate yourself through good deeds. This is the reality. Because good deeds will give you a very good birth. Good deeds will take you to Swarga, it will take you to Aditya Loka, I'm sorry, wherever. However, you need to be beyond both of these. You need to understand both the Punya Karma and the Papa Karma or darkness. That is a typical Advaitic explanation. You will not be able to find this in any other philosophy. So, Irul Ser Irivinayum Sera, Iraivan Purul Ser, Pugal Purindar Mate. Here, there is another special definition given by Parimelalagar that clearly places Tirukkuṟaḻ in the field of Advaita. It is an Advaitic text, there is no doubt about it. That is, he is saying, Irul Ser Irivinai. That is, the duality that which leads to darkness. So, what is this darkness we are speaking about? What is the definition of this word Irul, that is darkness, mentioned at the beginning of the Tirukkuṛaḻ? There he is saying, இன்ன தன்மைத்து என ஒருவராலும் கூறப்படாமையின் அவிச்சையை இருள் என்றும். That is, the darkness is avidya. Avichai is directly avidya. The darkness mentioned here is avidya. The darkness is avidya. Since no one can define its quality. In all the other Siddhantas, avidya has a definition. Only in Advaita Siddhanta, avidya is also anirvachaniya like Brahman. It is because of a very simple fact. You can define knowledge. You cannot define ignorance. For example, if I am asking somebody, do you know mathematics? If they say yes, then I can ask them, okay, tell me what do you know about mathematics? Explain what you know about mathematics. And they will be able to explain what they know about mathematics. If I am asking somebody, do you know mathematics? And if they are saying, no, I do not know mathematics, can I ask them, please explain what you do not know about mathematics? The question will be a very absurd question. It does not make any logical sense to explain ignorance. Ignorance is simply the absence of knowledge. And this is explained only in Advaita Siddhanta. In Advaita Siddhanta, avidya is anirvachaniyam. You cannot perceive it through your mind. You cannot explain it using words, just like you cannot explain Brahman using words. In the other Siddhantas, avidya has been given a form. That is, if you take the Saiva Vishishta Advaita, you will find that avidya is Parashakti, Maya, which is a chalana of the supreme deity Shiva. You take Vaishnava Vishishta Advaita, it is the Yoga Maya generated due to the Yoga Nidra of the supreme deity Lord Vishnu. However, in Advaita, there is simply no definition for avidya because we understand it is meaningless to explain or define ignorance. Ignorance can be removed by the presence of knowledge. It is like darkness. Darkness will move away when you bring light towards it. It will come back when you are moving the light away from it. But you cannot say darkness is coming and going. You can only say darkness is the absence of light. Right? So, the state of being wherein you are able to remove the darkness is knowledge. But there is no reality in itself for darkness in itself. So, this is the explanation that is being given here. And then we are going to the next couplet. Uran ennum tottiyan or aindum kappan varan ennum vaipirku or vittu. That is, he who is able to restrain his five senses with the help of vairagya, he is the seed for the boon of liberation. This is the simple meaning. Here, Tiruvallur is speaking about Indriya Nigraha, that is restrainment of our five senses, the sensory organs, and thereby gaining a condemnable aloofness of the worldly objects. So, Uran ennum tottiyan or aindum kappan. He who is able to, Uran means tinmai. Uran means a strength of vairagya. Through the strength of vairagya, if he is able to restrain his senses, he is the seed for liberation. That is, liberation has already been seeded in him. Liberation is already there in him. So, this is the meaning. And now, we need to understand one thing. Moksha or liberation is defined in two forms. One is graded liberation and another one is pure liberation. Graded liberation is called as paramukti, and aparamukti is a state that is the state of ungraded liberation, which is ultimate realization and ultimate dissolution. So, the other Siddhantas are only speaking about graded liberation. Because, for example, let us say, what is the ultimate goal? What is the ultimate state of liberation in the Vaishnavite philosophy? The ultimate state of liberation in the Vishishtadvaita philosophy is being in the state of the ultimate Dasabhuta. That is, being the supreme servant of the Master Sriman Mahavishnu. That is, if Lord Mahavishnu is walking, you will become his footwear. If he is standing, you will become his umbrella. If he is lying down, you will become his bed. And if he is sitting, you will become his throne. This is the state of being that is defined as liberation in Vishishtadvaita Siddhanta. There is absolutely nothing wrong with it, because this is the state in which Adisesha himself is there. This is the absolute surrender of bhakti. This is a very great state. I am not saying anything about it. However, still this is a state where there is sensory perception. In this state, sensory perception still exists. That is, you are able to enjoy and you are able to perceive the sensory objects of this world, of this Bhuloka, using this Parthiva Sharira. That is, you are able to use this body which is made up of these 5 elements within this physical plane, and you are able to enjoy the objects in this plane. But in the Swargaloka, according to our Shastras, in the Swargaloka, when you go there, this body will not be able to enjoy those senses. There will be another yonder body that you will get for specifically for Swargaloka, where you will be able to enjoy the objects of pleasure in Swargaloka using that particular body, using those senses. Now, when this becomes even more, you will go to Aditya Loka, you will go to Pitraloka, you will go to Vaikunta or Kailasha in Vishishtadvaita Siddhanta at the end. But even when you go there, even when you have the most subtle of the yonder bodies, it is still sensory perception. Even if you are only perceiving it through your antakarana, it is still sensory perception. So, it does not make any sense to say that I am going to control my senses, I am going to leave my senses, I am going to turn inward from my senses in order to achieve a state of sensory perception. Therefore, the beginning of sensory perception, the beginning of the restrainment of senses here in this world will only end in the place in the liberation where no sensory perception is required. And that liberation is only becoming one and dissolving with the absolute. It's actually our existing state of being. And the beauty of Advaita is that there is absolutely nothing to achieve through Advaita. That is the beauty of this philosophy. Advaita states that as it is, we are Brahman. As it is, we are Atma. As it is, we are that. Tattvamasi is not something that you have to learn. Tattvamasi is what you actually are. That is what you are. Even this moment, even in this very moment where you are sitting and listening to this discourse, you are Brahman. This does not change. Even if your body is changing, this is not going to change. Even if you are going to transcend to various planes of existence after you pass away or even before your birth, that does not change. You still remain. Even if you become a Deva, you are still going to remain as Brahman. There is no doubt about it. So, this state of being as the Brahman is eternal. Everything else is momentary. Where do we find it in this particular Tirukkuṟaḻ? We find the word Varan ennum vaipirttu or vittu. Meaning, Varan means the boon of liberation. Vaipu means that which is already existing. Vaipu meaning fixed. That is, Vaipunidhi in banking terms is called fixed deposit. That is, which is already there, which will always be there. You cannot simply use it like current account or savings account. That is fixed deposit. So, like that, our state of liberation is fixed deposit. Our state of liberation is a vaipu, meaning you are already in that state of liberation. You just need to control your senses in order to realize that. That's all. So this is also another purely and very strong Advaitic statement that is being made by Tiruvallur here. And then the next Tirukkuṛaḻ is Patruga Patratran Patrinai Appatrai Patruga Patruvidarku. This may sound like a tongue twister. Hold on to the one who has no passion and be passionate about it in order to have no passion on other passions. That is, the way to achieve dispassion is by doing the upasana of the Supreme Being who is beyond passion. That is, he who is beyond passion, the passionless one, is one of the saguna attributes that is given to Brahman. Similarly, he who is the bestower of all wealth is also another attribute which is given to the Nirguna Brahma in its Saguna form. So if you are worshipping for health, you will get health. If you are worshipping for wealth, you will get wealth. What should you do if you want to get liberation? You should worship for dispassion. That is the meaning of this Tirukkuṟaḻ. If you are looking at him as a person without passion, then he will make you a person without passion. He will show his true form to you, which is a reflection of your own form. Or he will show your true form to yourself, which is a reflection of the form of the Supreme Being. Either way. So he will simply remove the veil, he will unveil, and he will show that you and I are one. There is no difference. That will happen if you are worshipping the Saguna Brahma in its form of being dispassionate. And then the next Tirukkuṛaḻ that we are going to see is another concrete evidence on this arena. That is, in this area, எப்பொருள் எத்தன்மைத்து ஆயினும் அப்பொருள் மெய்ப்பொருள் காண்பது அறிவு. Even if you are only having a passing familiarity with Advaita like me, you will know this one particular example for Advaita. That is the example of the snake and the rope. You are entering a room, it is half lit and half in shadows. And there is a something there on the floor. The light is moving a little bit and the shadow is also moving. You look at it and you assume it to be a snake. But when you turn on the light, you find it to be a rope. Now, where did the snake go? There was no snake at all. The snake is a superimposition of your ignorance upon the rope, which gave you all the sensory perceptions that you will have if a snake is there in the room in reality. So, this superimposition is avidya. Now, whatever might be the nature of any object, it is through knowledge that we see the true nature of the object. That is the meaning of this couplet. எப்பொருள் எத்தன்மைத்து ஆயினும், whatever might be the form of an object, whatever might be the attribute of an object, of all the worldly objects. எப்பொருள். So that is a sarvanama. All the objects in the world, whatever might be their quality, whatever might be their guna, whatever might be their form, true knowledge is the knowledge through which you are able to see the true self of that object, the true nature of that object. And what is this true nature of the object? The true nature is the Brahman itself that has manifested through that object, and that manifestation is avidya. That manifestation is false knowledge or adhyasa. The adhyasa arises out of avidya or the ignorance. That is the particular misinformation, the particular superimposition that we have on that particular object of being something else other than Brahman is adhyasa. That is the particular ignorance that we have. So now, the difference between true knowledge and false knowledge is defined in our Vedanta, and the attainment of liberation is only through knowledge in Advaita. That is, jnana tevatu kaivalyam. Even if you are doing bhakti, you will do bhakti, and by doing bhakti, you will attain jnana, and through jnana, you will attain liberation. This is what is the speciality or the uniqueness of Advaita Vedanta, and here Tiruvallur is accepting with it. And then the next one, that is the state of liberation and the giver of the liberation are one and the same. This is also a very specific Advaitic concept. பிறப்பு என்னும் பேதைமை நீங்க சிறப்பு என்னும் செம்பொருள் காண்பது அறிவு. Wisdom lies in realizing the unique reality to remove the folly of rebirth. Rebirth is a folly. Rebirth is a illusion. Rebirth is a dissolution wherein you are simply thinking that you are being born time and again, but you are not being born because you are the Atma. So it is a folly. Now, how do you remove this folly? So, and what will happen if you remove this folly? Well, you will attain the state of sirappu, which is mukti, moksha, and semborul. Semborul means the supreme being. Semborul means the supremost of all the things that is existing, which is Brahman itself. So now, sirappu ennum semborul. Tiruvallur is saying that the semborul is the sirappu. That is, the liberation itself is the Brahman. The liberation itself is the Brahman. This is purely Advaitic, because wherever else in all the other schools of thought, you have the bestower of the liberation, and then the person who is receiving the liberation. The bestower of the liberation is the Paramatma, and the receiver of the liberation is Jivatma. There is only one Siddhanta where these two become one, Ekameva Advatiyam, wherein Advaita, and there it is being said, Semborul Kanbadu Arivu. Once again, he is insisting, how do you know that the state of liberation is same as the bestower of the liberation? You will know it through jnana. And what is jnana? Jnana is the removal of the folly of the transmigratory circle of birth and death. So, by attaining jnana, the transmigratory circle of birth and death will be removed. And once that is removed, you will find out that the state of being in which you are is actually the bestower of the liberation as well. There is no separate God. You are God. You are God. And that the understanding that you are not God is an ignorance. So once this ignorance is removed, you are going to achieve that non-dual state. Now I'd like to quote Thaymanava Swamigal here, a great saint who lived during the 17th century. He says in his Ananda Kalippu, Paradi Bhutam ni allai, Yennipar Indiriyam Karanam ni allai, Arai Unarvu ni என்றான், அவன் அன்பாக சொன்ன சொல் ஆனந்தம் தோழி. Paradi Bhutam ni allai. You are not these 5 bhutas from earth onwards. You are not these 5 bhutas. Yennipar, think about it, introspect. Indiriyam Karanam ni allai. You are neither the Indriyas nor the Karanas. Indiriyam Karanam ni allai. Arai Unarvu ni என்றான். Look into yourself, research and find out. Do your abhyasa and do your anusandana. Find out that Arai Unarvu ni என்றான், அவன் அன்பாக சொன்ன சொல் ஆனந்தம் தோழி. Meaning you are a feeling, you are just a feeling. What sort of a feeling is it? It is a feeling of absolute bliss. It is a feeling of absolute bliss. You are absolute bliss. You are the Satchit Ananda Swarupa. It is Sat, it is the truth. It is Chit, it has got a will to itself, and it has got a consciousness to itself. And what sort of a consciousness is it? The consciousness itself is the divine bliss. So we are in that state. Now, Kolil Poriyil Gunamilave Yengunaptan Thalai Vananga Talai is another couplet from the first chapter. Kolil Poriyil Gunamilave. There are no qualities in the 5 senses or your instruments of knowledge. Kol means the 5 senses, and Pori means the Pori means the 5 senses, and Kol means the instruments of knowledge, which is, as you know, Pratyaksha, Anumana, and Agama Pramana. So there is no sense in the Pramanas. There is absolutely no sense in the sensory perception. In all the senses, in all the activities that you do, if you are not surrendering yourself, if you are not realizing yourself to be the one with the 8 qualities, to be the one with the 8 qualities. Now, as I told you, Tirukkuṟaḻ has been brought into a lot of controversies, and everybody wants to claim Tirukkuṛaḻ to be their own text. The Jainas want Tirukkuṛaḻ to be their text, the Buddhas want the Tirukkuṛaḻ to be their text, and unfortunately today there is a claim even by Christians that Tiruvallur is a Christian and Tirukkuṛaḻ is a Christian text. It is happening in Tamil Nadu today. I don't want to get into the politics of it, but just for your information. This is one of the most important Tirukkuṛaļs, which is a ground for this controversy. Because when Tiruvallur has said, Yen gunattan thalai vanangathalai, if you are not bowing down to the one who has 8 qualities, then what are those 8 qualities? That is the question. Now, Jainas are saying, these are the 8 qualities which are described for our Aruga Tirthankara. The very Adi Tirthankara has some 8 qualities in their text, it seems. So it is those 8 qualities. And according to the Buddhas, they are stating, well, we have the 8-fold path of Dharma in our Abhidhamma Pitaka and Dhamma Pitaka. And these 8 qualities, if somebody has attained this 8-fold path of Dharma, then they might be called as a Buddha, which is the greatest state of being. So that is what Tiruvallur is referring. And in Saiva Siddhanta, they are saying there are 8 Mangala qualities of Shiva, and those are the 8 qualities. Now, the beauty is, this is the 9th couplet in that first chapter. So, from Tirukkuṛaḻ 1 to Tirukkuṛaḻ 8, from couplet 1 to couplet 8, there are 8 different qualities or attributes which are given to the Supreme Being. And now Tiruvallur is saying in the 9th couplet that 8 qualities, he who has 8 qualities. So which 8 qualities are there? You don't have to look anywhere else, just look upward, just look in the same page. From 1 to 8 there are 8 qualities, and he is just summarizing those 8 qualities in the 9th. So this is simply attributing saguna to the nirguna Brahman so that we will be able to understand it, at least for thinking about it, and at least for transcending that understanding at the end of our upasana. And then what will happen? Well, we are doing all of these things, fine. You are speaking about liberation, you are speaking about the final dissolution. What about here and now? I am suffering here, I am enjoying here, and I am finding that this particular enjoyment is also going to lead to some sort of suffering at some point of time. What am I to do right now? This is the question. You can say 1000 stories about the afterlife, but what about the life that is going on right here, right now? This has to be addressed. And our Advaita Vedanta clearly addresses this life through a concept called jivanmukta. That is, you will be able to be here, you will be able to operate, you will be able to be functional in this materialistic world, and yet you can remain untouched by the sorrow and the joy of this world. This can happen to you through realization even when you are having your body. When you are living, you will be a jivanmukta, and when you leave this body, you will become videhamukta. Both of these concepts are there specifically in our Siddhanta, and here inbam idayaradu indum ava ennum tunbatul tunbam kedin, meaning the bliss will be non-stop even here if the most sorrowful of the sorrow is removed. If the most sorrowful of the sorrow is removed, that is tunbatul tunbam, the sorrow which is within the sorrow that is the root cause of the sorrow. What is that? Ava ennum tunbatul tunbam. The desire is the sorrow within the sorrow. As I told you before, the concept of sukha and dukkha is defined as dukkha and then dukkha mishra sukha. That is, even if you are enjoying something, we need to understand that when you are enjoying through your senses and when you are enjoying it without the realization of the true nature of the object of sensory perception, it is going to bring you some sort of sorrow at some point of time. The same object that you are enjoying today will become unenjoyable tomorrow, or the same object that you are enjoying now in one quantity, when the quantity becomes more and more, it will become torture to you. Right? Those who are married will understand this very clearly. Now, this is because you are approaching that object with desire. If you do not approach an object with desire, you can still have that sensory perception. You can still be joyous out of it. But once you do not have it, you will not suffer. That is, if you are, here we are speaking about the addiction to the objects of sensory perception, and when that object is not available, it becomes a problem. Similarly, when you are being given too much of an object, if you are aloof from that particular sensory perception, you will be able to consume it all without any problem. Either way, if it is going to be overwhelming or if it is going to be underwhelming, it will only create trouble for you when you have desire. If you are able to give up the desire, and yet if you are able to function, inbam idayaradu indum. Indum means even here, even in this world. We are not speaking about some other world. We are not speaking about Swarga, we are not speaking about Vaikunta, we are not speaking about Kailasha. Bharati will say, Inda Chanathinil, Iptarai Meedinil, Ippolude Mukti Undam Endringu Udeda Sangam. He will say, on this very earth, in this very moment, there is Ananda, there is bliss. This is what I am going to announce to the world. This is Mahakavi Bharati's statement. Similarly, Inbam Idayaradu Indum, Ingeyum, even here, Avavennum tunbatul tunbam kedin. If you are able to lose the sorrow which is the cause of the sorrow, that is desire, then the sorrow will no more be a sorrow. But unfortunately, the joy will no more be a joy. You will simply be the observer. But if you are in that state, you will understand it is the state of ultimate bliss, when nothing can touch you, not only there, but also here. So we are able to see that Tirukkuṛaḻ is a composition of Advaitic thought. Not only that, Tiruvallur himself is venerated as one of the seers of Tamil literature. And today, this topic is of primary importance because there is a lot of division going on in various forms and names in this nation. The worst kind of a division that is going on today is the division even using spirituality. Well, this is Tamil spirituality, this is Sanskrit spirituality. That sort of a nonsense is going on. But we need to realize that the entire Sangam literature is based on this single Vedic culture. And the culmination of this Vedic culture, the point where the entire Vedic culture culminated and then started dispersing entire Bharatavarsha, is Adi Shankara Bhagavadpada. Without Adi Shankara Bhagavadpada, you will not be able to define any other fulcrum for this Bharatiya culture, for this Bharata Samskriti and this Sanatana Dharma. Therefore, we need to venerate both Acharya as well as Tiruvallur. And if there are any Tamil people out here, please do read Tirukkuṛaḻ. And for everybody, please do read Professor Nagaswami's book, Tirukkuṛaḻ, an abridgment of Shastras. Thank you so much. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, Ragavendranji. That was very beautifully summarized. And also for sharing aspects of Tirukkuṛaḻ, a Tamil Dharma Shastra. And through 7 couplets, you explained how it converges with Advaita Vedanta. Thank you so much for that. Thank you, viewers, for participation. Please join us for tomorrow's morning session as well as from 7 to 8. Can we have the flyer? Tomorrow morning session, the topic is Bhuma Vidya and analysis by Swamini Brahma Prakashanandaji. See you then. Signing out for now. Namaskara.